Let's talk to International Affairs Analyst Ejime for more on the development in Mali. As we speak now, both the President and the Prime Minister are kept at the Kati military camp, where we're told discussions are now ongoing. Talks have also been involved. The M5 RFP have been involved in talks. And that's a group that has been very critical of the Prime Minister. What does this mean for Mali, particularly the fragile peace that the country has sustained in the past 9 months?
Well, it underlines, thank you for having me, by the way. It underlines the fragility of the peace process and political leadership in Mali, which, as you know, has never known stability, insecurity. There is, terrorism and all that. In fact, terrorists try to launch their attack from there to other neighboring countries, Burkina Faso and Niger. But this has, you shouldn't really be surprised. That is the reason we try to warn the leadership in Africa that once you leave, you give the opportunity for this type of for governance to move from to become personalized or be riddled with corruption and nepotism and all kinds of anti-democratic practices. This is what you get. So I don't know where we go from here, but it's expected, because once the military, don't forget that they're also looking over Chad, where even though when they took power in Mali in August 2020, there was a hue and cry for them to, there was sanctions, there was all that. But look at a similar thing happening in Chad and the way it's being handled. So I hope that has not emboldened these people to think that they can get away with a blue model. But what it requires is the political will. And ECOWAS is not offering that. That is the problem. The AU is also not offering that. And that is where the problem lies. They need to go with carrot and stick. But I don't think the military, they haven't seen that. And that is why they have actually rolled back the hands of the clock. Let's see what President Jonathan does when he gets there, or what the UN is backing. They have 15,000 men over there. France has 4,500. AU is also, it has a representation. What are they doing? That is the insincerity. And underpinning all this is the rule of France. I think the earlier France leaves all these colonial former colonies to become independent, both political and economic, the better.
Indeed, Mr. Ejime.
Being over them and overbearing influence that they have and controlling their economy, deciding who should be installed and who should be removed. I think that is the hindrance. That is the bottleneck that must be removed.
Is there a big lesson here for other African countries? The ousting of Boubacar Keïta 9 months ago was perhaps the second coup d'etat in 10 years, and now we're talking about another military takeover. Is there a big lesson here that a coup d'etat wouldn't just solve it, given how long it's taken to return to democratic rule in Mali?
It is generally believed that military takeover is an aberration. I think that is what, but it's easier said than done. To prevent it, to stop it, the civilians, the politicians must play by the book. They must by the rule. There is nothing, but when you now begin to tamper with the constitution, to prolong your power, when you begin to govern without without justice, and without taking care of the interests of the majority, you are only feathering your own nest or your people from your clan or ethnic group or your religion. There is a danger, and that is not to excuse military takeover, because the military itself has not shown that it can deliver on democratic dividend. So there has to be that balance. Yes, the war is against military takeover, but what are the politicians doing? That is where the problem lies. If you say you don't like the heat, then stay out of the kitchen. But the politicians remain in the kitchen and they say they don't like the smoke. And that is what the problem, where the problem is. So everybody, both the politicians, the judiciary, the young the electoral umpires, the citizens, the media, I think everybody has a role to play. But more so the politicians. They are the ones calling because they instigate this this fight. And in the case of Mali and other Francophone countries, France has a hand in it. And the earlier, like I said, you cannot be blowing hot and cold. Leave these countries to make mistakes on democratic progress and then learn from it. Otherwise, it is just a case of you think you are protecting them. But in actual fact, you are also exploiting them.
It's a good place to leave it, Mr. Ejime. We see what the delegation from ECOWAS will do differently, particularly seeing the role that they all played in the transitional government when they get to Bamako. International Affairs Analyst Ejime, thank you so much for talking to us tonight.
Thank you for having me.